we do on earth reflect the dignity, honor, and order of the high King of heaven. And this is one of them. Through the music and beauty of this occasion, you have shown your desire to reflect his presence here. So we are celebrating something of special dignity here today. But if the focus is on you two, then we've missed the point. This is the beginning of a new family, a new identity, created by the hand of God, created by the one who created the sun and the stars and every molecule in this room. He has directed this marriage to occur not just for your joy, but for his joy. God of creation revealed himself through his word. Both of you know what the Bible says. A wife must obey and respect her husband, and the husband must love his wife. But your marriage is beginning in a culture where self-absorption and self-gratification is embedded in public dialogue and thinking. Merely repeating these admonitions, therefore, just doesn't seem enough. Therefore, it is proper for me to give you a charge as you begin your life together. If marriage is nothing more than obeying these rules, then it is reduced to subjective opinion based on arbitrary authority. However, marriage makes sense only when the starting point is Christ and the truth of God's revelation. In Ephesians 3, when Paul prays that they would be able to comprehend with all saints what is the breadth and length and depth and height, and to know the love of Christ which passeth knowledge, that ye might be filled with all fullness of God. That is my prayer for you today. That is my charge for you. But what does it mean? It means that your focus must be on that which never changes, the God who created you. Your goal cannot be self-gratification or even happiness, but rather to comprehend the breadth and length and height and depth of God. This is a depth of thinking the world knows nothing about. In a culture of meaninglessness built on things like lewdness, you decided not to kiss until marriage. I think you get it. But don't lose it. Your thinking, to the extent that it is dictated by the Word of God, is the only thinking that can produce depth, intellectual credibility, and real answers to the questions life poses. It is only by denying yourselves that you can resist the impulse to come to God on your own terms. Tiffany, we gave you the name Tiffany, which means the appearance of God. You have been such a blessing to your mother and I, and to your two brothers. The God-glorifying character you developed in your early years as the sister of a handicapped child like Brian was a tool God used to lead you to a deep relationship to Christ. I just can't help thinking of him today and your two grandfathers who would be so happy for you today. I could just see your grandpa Sauter beaming for his Tiffer. The Bible talks about a holy woman whose beauty is not outward adorning, but the adornment is inward in the form of a quiet and meek spirit. It is this spirit that God values, not a spirit of independent self-exaltation or contention. The Apostle Paul tells us that holy women who put their hope in God adorn themselves this way. They submitted themselves to their husband. Leslie, you are everything we could have wanted in a godly man for Tiffany. When I look at you, I see a countenance free of guilt and shame. I know you have a genuine heart for God and have a deep desire to serve him. The strength of your character and integrity is honorable to God. Leslie, your job is to love Tiffany as Christ loves the church. Your theology of Christ's love will determine how you love Tiffany. That is, how you understand that which is imitated, Christ's love, will determine how and what you imitate. If your theology is biblical, then your wife will be loved as Christ really did love the church. Biblical love is not merely a feeling, not an emotion, not infatuation, but real love. Love can only find its meaning and correct view of reality. Realness is only obtained through a knowledge of the one who gives anything meaning and substance. Thus, real love, Christian love, is a conscious commitment, a willful choice of self-sacrifice like that of Christ. Because you both are committed to Jesus Christ first, he will empower you to love each other through the Holy Spirit who has given to us. Only by the lordship, the control of Christ will this marriage, in this marriage, and provide the power to overcome your own autonomy and be one heart with a vision for the ruler of all. So ultimately, my charge to you is to immerse yourself in the Scripture and surrender yourselves to Christ, who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think to work in you.
Wesley and Tiffany, the vows you make today before God in this company will reflect the increased commitment of those whose lives are dedicated to God. Are you willing to make such a commitment before God and these witnesses? If you would do, okay. And now, Wesley and Tiffany, having freely and deliberately and prayerfully chosen each other as partners for life, will you join hands? Wesley, will you have this woman whose hand you hold to be your wedded wife, to live together after God's ordinance in the holy estate of matrimony, in the fear of God and the presence of these witnesses? You promise to be to her a loving husband, leading her down paths of righteousness. Do you promise to cleave to her, to cherish her, to honor her, to give yourself to her as Christ did the church, forsaking all others, keep thee only unto her, so long as you both shall live? Tiffany, will you have this man whose hand you hold to be your wedded husband, to live together after God's ordinance in holy matrimony, in the fear of God and the presence of these witnesses? Do you promise to be to him a virtuous and submissive wife? Do you promise, as Solomon said, to do him good and not evil all the days of your life, to look well to the ways of your household? Will you love him, comfort him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, keep thee only unto him so long as you both shall live? Will you both repeat after me? I'm sorry, Wesley, you repeat after me. I, Wesley, take thee, Tiffany, to be my wedded wife, and having to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death us do part, according to God's holy ordinance. Tiffany, repeat after me. I, Tiffany, take thee, Wesley, to be my wedded husband, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death us do part, according to God's holy ordinance. Wesley and Tiffany have promises they'd like to make to each other today.
Before these witnesses, before our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I vow to love you with unconditional commitment, be the spiritual leader of our home, honor you and protect you as a priceless treasure, leading my expectation of full satisfaction of God and relying on Him to give me the strength and grace to accomplish these vows.
Wesley, repeat after me. With this ring, I thee wed, with all my earthly possessions, I thee endow. I promise to love you, to cherish you, and to remain with you as a true and faithful husband.
I, Tiffany, take you, Wesley, to be the husband that God has provided for me. I promise to honor you as my covenant bridegroom, to be faithful to you in time of blessing and time of need, to delight in you alone as the husband of my youth, to care for you in health or in sickness as I would my own flesh, to love you without condition, submitting to you as my head unto the Lord. Till death should part us, these things I vow to you before the Lord and before those present. This ring is a symbol of my covenant love for you.
If you would repeat after me, with this ring,
With this ring,
I thee wed,
I be wed,
with all my earthly possessions,
all my earthly possessions,
I thee endow.
I be endowed.
I promise to love you,
I promise to love you,
to encourage you,
to encourage you,
to remain with you
to remain with you
as a true and faithful wife.
as a true and faithful wife.
You.
Yielding to the enemy and throwing life away. Bind our lives together, harness with your truth. When the struggle seems too great, Lord, keep our eyes on you. Lord, bless our protect our home. Let it be our refuge in this world of sin. Lord, reign within. Keep us strong and true. And when we need you most, Lord, draw us close. Committed to each other. Lord, bless our home. We give our home to you. Thank you for your goodness. Our love is in your plan. Help us face the future, always trusting in your hand. Keep us warm and tender. Keep us sweet and pure. Drive us to each other's arms and make our love endure. Lord, bless our home, protect our home. Let it be our refuge in this world of sin. Lord, reign within. Keep us strong and true. And when we need you most, Lord, draw us close. Committed to each other. Lord, bless our home. We give our home to you. Lord, bless our home.
And now, having pledged your love and loyalty to one another, and having sealed this pledge with the exchanging of rings, I do, by the authority vested in me as a minister of the gospel, and in conformity to the laws of this state, do pronounce you man and wife. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. And Wesley, you may kiss your bride.